Bienvenidos chismosos y chismosas. Welcome back to Los Chismosos podcast. I am your host, Trill City Guapo. Doing a little something different today. Jerm is not in the building, at least not yet. So you guys just have to put up with me and me alone. Well, isn't this a little bit different? This week has been kind of crazy. Let's just jump right into it. I'm on a hunt for a new job. I'm on a hunt for a new car. And if you've ever been in that type of situation where you're looking for a job and just you weren't prepared to look for one, it can be kind of stressful. So mount that onto looking for a new vehicle as well. And life has been a little bit hectic, but at the end of the day, you just have to try and put your trust in God and, I guess do the best you can to prepare yourself in situations like this. I know it's difficult to say that, right? Or it's easy to say that. It's a difficult situation to be in, especially because a lot of people don't save money. Not the way we used to. I was just having a conversation here a little bit ago with Ruben, and we were bringing up how it used to be easy for our family members to be able to afford a house or afford a car or afford both. And with one job, one income, it was easy. It was simple. And fast forward just even, 10, 15 years, and now it's a very difficult situation for the next generation. We've been getting, I would say, I'm not gonna say tips, but we've been getting information from older folks in our life being like, well, you should just get X car. It only costs X amount of dollars, as if, wages are the same as they were, 10, 15 years ago. It's not that easy. And it almost seems like the old generation just doesn't seem to understand that things aren't the way that they used to be. And as much as they try to make it seem simple, well, if you just do this, if you just stop trying to be happy and find a job, at least that, pays well, you might not be happy, but it pays the bills. You'll be able to do that. Even with that, it's almost difficult and almost impossible to be able to enjoy a vacation. And I don't know if it's a generational thing. I don't know if it's just the older people being out of touch with what's going on currently. And we're not going to get into politics and, how the economy is or why the economy is because of a certain person, or certain laws being passed or not being passed, tariffs. But, it's something that, us young, and I consider myself young. I know I'm not the youngest person, but I'm kind of in between. I'm in between almost old and almost young. I'm old enough to where my back hurts when I wake up in the morning, but I'm young enough to dress fly. You know what I'm saying? And have the latest gear and still be able to communicate with my kid and know what skibbity is and stuff like that. So, and if you don't know what that is, you might be on the other side of being old. So let's just leave it there. But in being in this situation, I've had to learn to be patient. And I think a lot of us struggle with being patient. We are in an era or in a time where there's a lot of people dealing with anxiety. There's a lot of people dealing with pressures of not just within their own home, but outside their home, of what we should have, where we should be in our life. And, I'm here to tell you, live your life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like do everything at your own pace. You don't have to live at other people's pace or even, try to front and pretend like you are where you should, you know what I'm saying? Like, run your race at the end of the day, And I do try to tell people, trust in God. I know some of you might not be religious. Some of you guys, all right, dude, we get it. Trust in God. Yes, dude, it's really that simple sometimes. Like, you still have to put in your own effort. You still have to do your work. But knowing that, you have someone or something watching over you and protecting you and, guiding you through this crazy thing we call life, I could take a little bit of pressure off of you, but I'm there right now. And it's not easy, I walk around with a smile on my face. Sometimes, I don't feel like it. And being a family man, you kind of have to, I'm not going to say be fake, but try to look at whatever part of that glass is full. It might be halfway full. It might be a quarter full, but you have to try to keep your head above that water and just kind of, be, try to be the positive and the bright, shining, part of the day for your family. And it'd be like that, but saying all that, I've been at home a lot. What have I done? Nothing. I haven't been very productive around the house. Like, people are like, I'm around the house a lot. I'm gonna do these projects. Nah, bro, not me. I've been watching a lot of Netflix. I've been watching a lot of new series. The most recent one that I watched. Oh my God. Okay. Have you guys seen The Pit? If you have not seen The Pit on HBO, this is not an ad. If you have not seen The Pit on HBO, definitely recommend it. It's almost like House, right? So it's like House and ER, like if they had a baby, okay? But better. It was like the better baby. You know what I'm saying? Like the main doctor, the main character, he's like Dr. House, except he's nice. He might not be a genius, but he's nice. I'd rather have a nice doctor than a doctor who knows everything is just a complete asshole. So in that show, it's how do I say it? The season is 24 hours, or not 24 hours. It's their shift, right? So it's broken up into an hour episode. So each hour is a new episode. And the most recent episode that just aired got me. Usually, like, there's only one movie that I can think of that made me cry, which was Coco. And in this most recent one, oh my God, bro. There was a scene where I couldn't hold it. I just tears. I was like, no, I can't be showing this emotion right now. I can't believe this is making me feel this way. And I didn't know I knew that it wasn't about, it wasn't a situation where I was like, oh, that's my kid or whatever the case may be. But I think it was more of, seeing the compassion that the doctor had towards the child in the show. And how they treated her during that whole situation, that ordeal, because it was a crazy ordeal. And spoiler alert, basically this little girl drowns. She's with the grandma. The grandma's watching her and her little sister, and the little girl drowns. She hopped the fence to try to get a ball from the pool, drowns and dies. Later on in the show, you find out that the little girl didn't just jump over the fence and grab the ball in the pool and drown. Her little sister fell in the pool, and then she jumped in to save her little sister, and then she ended up drowning. You find this out later in the episode. So then you're like, oh, not only did the little girl die, but she died a hero, bro. And I was like, ugh. Like, when you start feeling like, you're like, oh, that one almost got me. It almost got me, but it didn't really get me. Then the doctor comes in with a teddy bear, and she's like, she goes up to the little girl and she's like, hey, how are you doing? And she's like, oh, I made this card for my sister for saving my life, blah, blah, blah. And the doctor's like, oh, well, I got this teddy bear, and the little girl's like, oh, I'm going to name it Bear, whatever. And she's like, how about you tell the teddy bear what you want to tell your sister, and I'll take the teddy bear and lay it by your sister's pillow, and she'll tell your sister what you want to tell her, how you feel. That got me. That got me because, as a parent in that situation, you would not tell your kid, like, oh, yeah, go ahead and come in, see your dead sister, not knowing what happened, how everything transpired. And so, in that situation, I just looked at the doctor like, wow, bro, you just made this so much simpler for this kid when she grows up to be like, she might not have been able to tell her sister that, but in her head as a child, she didn't know her sister was dead already. So she was able to tell her sister how she felt. It's the craziest thing. It got me. I'm not going to lie. It got me. So if you haven't seen the show, The Pit, you should definitely check it out. It's a great show. I've been catching up on, some of you might not care, but I like to watch anime. So I've caught up on some Dragon Ball Daima, stuff like that. I've been watching a lot of YouTube. There's this guy that I've been watching. He basically goes out to Alaska and like does a lot of man stuff. Like he camps, but he camps like he takes minimal things and just kind of survives out in Alaska for a couple of days. And it's the craziest thing because you look at this guy and you're like, there's no way. There's no way if you saw him like in the city, you'd be like, there's no way that guy can survive in Alaska. No way. And then he does it. He's doing everything that he needs. He's building fires. He's fishing. He's doing kayaks in these rivers filled with glaciers. It's the craziest thing. And I'm watching him going, dang, I would never do that. But I appreciate that you're doing it because I can now kind of experience what it would be like. And that experience is terrible. But thank you for the showing me what it would be like. And now I definitely know that I don't want to do it. I'm definitely not a camper. I'm not an outside person. I don't like bugs. I don't like being hungry. That's one thing I hate is to feel hungry. I'm high maintenance. I'm not gonna lie to you. And some of you might be like, oh, well, you're not a man, Guapo. You don't like to fish. You don't like to hunt. No, I have an HEB right down the street. Matter of fact, I got two HEBs. One going to my left, one going to my right. 20 minutes each, bro. If I want fish, if I want beef, whatever I want, I just go to HEB. I know some of y'all like fishing. I get it. I guess. I mean, you could just go to HEB and find the fish and you save yourself a day. I've seen people fish and not get anything. Have you ever seen the show Alone? I have. They're out there in the wilderness trying to fish and catch one fish in 4 days. Like, that's crazy to me. I'm not about it, but moving on to some current headlines going on. Have y'all noticed all these airplanes going down? There's a lot of airplanes that just keep falling out the sky. Everybody who said I was crazy for not wanting to travel, in your face. In your face. Y'all, I've been made fun of. I've been teased. I've been told that I'm crazy because, oh, what do you mean you don't want to travel and try different foods and go to different cultures? Half the battle is traveling there on a plane, boat, car, you know what I'm saying, for hours at a time. Could you imagine thinking like, oh, finally, I'm going to go on vacation and go on this trip. I get on the plane, that plane crashes. That's some bullshit. Don't make me go ahead and I guess risk my life to go to another country when I could have just gone down the street and got some Chinaman food or some Mexican food or some Jamaican food. You know what I'm saying? It's not any different. When people tell me like, oh, Mexican food in Mexico is better than what you would find in the States. Wrong. You know why? Because them peoples that's making that food over there have already hopped the border and making food over here, bruh. Indian folk, there's great Indian food in Houston. I don't have to go to India. I don't have to go to these places where they're going to look at me crazy because of the way that I look or because I don't know their language. I'm good, bro. Matter of fact, you want some good sushi? There's great sushi places in Houston. You don't got to go to Japan. Oh, but Guapo, the culture. You don't want to experience the culture. You know how many festivals we have in the city? There's Japanese festivals. There's Cinco de Mayo. There's name it. We have it. We have plenty of festivals you can go to for the day, look at all the cool culture stuff, and then go back home in your AC and you're good, bro. I don't buy into the hype of going to other people's countries, especially right now with everything that's going on. People ain't really happy with Americans, and I don't blame them. I would look at me crazy too. But with all that said, makes me think, is it that our airplanes suck? Like, are they just being built bad? Or, is there something else? Could it be aliens? Think aliens are dropping those planes out of the sky? Because I'm like, these planes get checked, right? I got a homie who works on planes. Shout out to homie Aaron. So, like, I hope he's doing his job, making sure these planes are working properly. If not, Aaron, you might have to find a new job. But I was thinking the other day, I was like, what happened to all them drones? Are those drones gone? Are these aliens bringing down these planes trying to send a message? Like, is this Elon Musk's fault? Whose fault is it? What's going? And we ain't getting no answers. They're just like, yeah, today on the news, a plane flew out of the sky, fell out of the sky in Canada, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, that's it. It didn't hit a bird. It didn't, collide with another. It just fell out of the sky. Now, people that know me, I believe in science. I believe in God and I believe in science. I believe in both. All right. But one thing that, and I know, look, I'm not dumb. All right. I know that there's science behind it. I get it. But boats and planes trip me out, because how can this huge piece of metal float on water, and how could this huge piece of metal fly through the sky? It doesn't make sense to me, dog. Like, I get it. Physics, science, math, whatever. It doesn't ring in my head like, oh yes, no, I still don't get it. But hey, there's smarter people in the world than me, and I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Speaking of vacations though, we recently had and y'all know I try to keep politics out of stuff, but we recently had a president who went on vacation, vice president that went on vacation and was quickly booted out of his vacation plans from protesters, which is crazy because again, I don't do vacations, but if I'm choosing to go on a vacation, I'm not letting a bunch of signs scare me away. You feel me? Like, this is kind of like the whole topic with like police officers who are like, oh, well, we have to do some of these things for our safety. Like, dog, you signed up for that job. You know that there's risks that are associated with it. Same thing with being the vice president. You know there's risks involved. Somebody's going to want to off you, bro. But you're just going to live in fear the whole time? Then why are you vice president? How are you afraid of some white people with signs? That's crazy. That's ridiculous. And then you're going to go to an undisclosed location and then still have the balls to like talk trash to other countries with your mascara on. It's crazy. It's the wildest thing. Look, I'm not one to tell people, because y'all know me. I protect my family as much as I can. But I mean, that to me is ridiculous. Like, you have a whole Secret Service team. You have all, you know what I'm saying? You have all the protection in the world. For you to still act scared, but then try to be a tough guy on the media is crazy to me. But, you know, that's just my opinion. And again, not going to get into too much politics and all that good stuff. But I'm not going to, you know, I wouldn't be scared is all I'm saying. You know, we look for peace and we got that peace on us. You feel me? In other unrelated news, you know, I want to give a big shout out to the homie Chino. Chino and his band War Within Dreams dropped a new album, The Blue. It's a dope album if you like, you know, metal, you like rock music. Definitely tap in with them. Hit me up on Instagram. I'll send you the link. I want to give a big shout out to them because, you know, I've been following them as a band, and this is not a review of their album. This is more of a, I guess maybe encouragement to some of you out there who I guess perhaps have been thinking about pursuing a dream, or, you know, maybe have been a little bit scared, you know, of pursuing a dream. This is for you. Like, I remember having a conversation with Chino, and there was a point where he was just like, you know, I don't know if the band's going to stay together. Like, you know, everybody's kind of have their own, you know, family things going on. And, you know, it's hard to get our times together and practice and this and that. It was almost kind of like, I don't know if it's going to work. And fast forward to today or earlier this week, and they dropped a brand new album. They're on the path to like possibly performing at some festivals. You know, they're dropping music videos, and the band is just, they're amazing. They're amazing. It's hard to be a single artist already. So when you have 5 different members and having to collaborate and come as one and, you know, put all this work in, that's even crazier. Now, you know, when I say people, you know, might be thinking about doing this stuff, look, being an artist or being, trying to be whatever it may be, you know, in your career path, whatever, people are scared. And when I say scared, I don't think it's like, oh, I'm scared. I think sometimes, you know, yeah, it can be, I'm afraid that I might fail. Right? We all are. It can happen. Happens more than you would think, right? People fail all the time. But I think some people too are afraid of not failing. What if this works? There's pressure that comes with succeeding. dropping a good album, dropping a good single, there's expectations of you now. You know, are you going to run away from that? Are you going to quit? Are you going to keep going? You know, and sometimes you don't think about that until you get to that moment, like, oh, you know, I'm here now. And maybe that fear sets in. But I think there are people out there who think like, you know, I just don't want to try. I just don't know. And it's not the fear of failing. It's the fear of succeeding. Are you consistent enough to keep going? Are you, you know, driven to go past the bullshit and, you know, stay on your path and keep going? And so this is a big shout out to them because I've seen them, you know, drop a single, not do much, and then finally everybody be able to get back together and drop a banger of an album. And with each single that they dropped on the way and every video, it just keeps getting better. Like it's the craziest thing. So big shout out to War Within Dreams. Another artist that recently dropped an album, Noah Nova, dropped a Lady Friends. If you haven't checked it out, go ahead and check it out. It's on Spotify and all platforms. Same with War Within Dreams. Noah, I met doing a one-on-one with Germ. It was interesting, definitely interesting podcast. I would recommend checking out one-on-one with Germ with Noah Nova and kind of getting to know him. He's a great artist, very talented, and just overall great dude. So go ahead and check out his album. So shout out to both of them, keeping it going and, you know, staying on top of what they got to do to pursue what they want to do. You know, dreams are just dreams. That's exactly what they are until you start putting the work in. You know what I'm saying? Once you start putting that work in, it becomes a vision, becomes a path, you know, and just going towards success, man. So today we have a special segment called What Would You Do? And What Should They Do? All right. Got a little cheeseman for you guys here. Might seem a little bit long, but I'll try to paraphrase as much as I can. The first one is, my boyfriend and I were cuddled in bed under a blanket, not doing anything, just cuddled up. Randomly, I farted. Literally out of nowhere. He immediately jumped out of bed and said, "Oh, okay, I'm done." And started getting dressed and saying stuff like this irks me. I understand, but that was completely unintentional, but also very natural. So chill, dude. And his response was angrily, "Why would you fart in bed under a blanket?" Now, hold on. Let me intervene here. Facts. Look, I get that it's a natural thing, bro. It happens. Sometimes you're walking and it happens. Sometimes you're laughing and it happens. But like, you should know, like, if you cut one in the blanket, bro, like lift the blanket up, bro. Like, don't leave it steaming in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's disgusting, bro, because it just sits in there and it's warm under the blanket. So it's like 10 times worse than it would be if you just like aired that thing out. That's just me. I wouldn't get like upset over a fart. There's other things to get upset about. I do definitely get it, especially when you're in a relationship. Things that might not be a big deal to one is a big deal to another. For instance, you know what? We're going to talk about this next time. Y'all like what I did there, huh? So he gets upset. Why would you fart on the blanket? So she says she just sat there, shocked, absolutely with no words. At that moment, my heart shattered into every tiny piece imaginable. What should I do? You should probably just not fart in front of people. Let's keep it real. Like even burping. Okay, I'll say this. I'm particular about who I eat around because certain things kind of ugh me. Okay. If you fart on the table, I'm probably pulling the strap on you. Don't fart at the table. But all right, so a couple of things I don't like when I'm eating with people. I don't really like hearing people like the like when you eat spicy food and you hear the like that sound, bro. Like you swallowing your boogers through your nose. I don't like that. That's not like I'll ignore it as much as I can. But this is why I choose to eat alone a lot of the time. Another thing that irks me is burping. Oh my God. I hate eating with somebody and I hear every few minutes. I'm like, bro, take a Tums. There's plenty of, we had a conversation about heartburn last episode. Like, take something. But like the fact that you're sitting there, and I get it, it's a medical condition. Yeah, but you can fix that. That's, you know what I'm saying? There's something you could take to fix that. But that to me, I'm like, bruh, like I'm over it. So I do get the whole, having irks or having icks or whatever it may be. But I mean, there's simple things that you could do, like take a pill for the burping, or don't blow your nose at the table. The whole chili thing, I get it. I get mocos too when I'm eating some spicy food. I get it. But don't do the like. Nobody needs that extra salt on their food. You're good, bro. So what should she do? Try to avoid doing it. And I know some of you are gonna be like, it's a natural thing. Well, how are you just gonna avoid farting? I'm not telling you to avoid it. I'm just like, if you got it, you're around people, bro. Get up and stretch. Go to the corner of the room. Like, do something that might get you away from that person to do what you got to do. I don't know. That's just my take. What should they do? They should do that. What would I do? It depends. Like, am I in the mood to do some nasty shit? If I'm in the mood, bro, and like she cuts a fart in there, like I might have to let it slide this time, bro. You feel me? But like, if I'm not in the mood to like do that, bro, like I might say something like, "Hey, bro, like, can you not do it under the blanket?" Like, I think I would say the same thing, but I wouldn't get upset. I mean, when it comes to relationships, okay. So I know people, when you get in a relationship, you start getting comfortable with people and you're like, oh yeah, we're so comfortable. And like, dude, like I'll see couples like popping each other's like pimples, like in public. Like, dude, if you're going to do that stuff, that's cool to do it in private. Like that's between y'all. I don't really care. But when y'all do that stuff in public, it's not okay. Just because you're comfortable with it don't mean we're comfortable with it. Like, but I'm different. Anyways, moving on to the next one. This one's going to be, am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for telling my friend that she couldn't bring her kid to my child-free birthday dinner? I recently hosted a birthday party with a birthday dinner at a nice restaurant with a group of close friends. It was meant to be small, child-free, nothing wild, just quiet, adult-only dinner with some good food and conversation. And I made it clear in the invite that it was for adults only so that everyone could plan accordingly. Now, one of my friends, we'll just call her Laura, has a 3-year-old daughter. When I sent her the invite, she asked if she could bring her child since she doesn't have a babysitter. And I sympathized, but I told her, unfortunately, I really wanted to keep this an adult-only event. And I totally understood if she couldn't make it. She said she'd figure out something and never brought it up again. So Laura shows up to the party with her daughter in her hand. So at this point, I walk up to Laura and I go, hey, how are you doing? Thank you for coming. But I told you that this was a adults only party. And Laura, smiling, joking, goes, I know, but I couldn't find a babysitter. And, my daughter's well behaved, so I thought it wouldn't be a big deal. As I'm trying to let her know that this was meant to be adults only, because I wanted to have just the girls be able to let loose and, have a good time. She continued to kind of ignore me and try to shake it off as if it was not a big deal. So at this point, I was frustrated, but still trying to be polite. And I told her I understood, but I didn't think it was fair that the rest of the guests who also made arrangements for childcare expecting an adult environment. And I asked her to leave and come back another time and celebrate separately. She got upset and said I was being ungrateful and ridiculous, that her daughter is well behaved and wouldn't cause any trouble. But the whole point was the principle of the thing. It was my birthday. I set the boundary and she ignored it. So Laura ended up leaving in a huff. And later, she sent me a long text about how I humiliated her in front of her friends and made her feel like a bad mom for bringing her daughter. A couple of our friends thought I overreacted and should have just let her stay. Others agreed that it was unfair of her to put me in that situation. Like, it's my birthday. Now I feel torn. I don't know what to. I didn't want to make a scene, but also felt like I shouldn't have to justify a boundary. I was clear from the start, Am I the asshole for making her leave when she showed up with her kid? No. And I know a lot of people are gonna, oh, what, Quap? You with the well-behaved kid? You ain't. No. This happened recently. I was invited to a wedding, adults only, right? And I did ask. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I didn't. I was like, hey, you know, my kid. My kid's well behaved. Like, and if you know my kid, bro, like, my kid has always been well behaved. I've never had anyone complain about my daughter, ever. But I did ask. I said, hey, you know, she's well behaved, you know, because she. And they said, well, you know, we really would like this to be adults only. Cool. So, you know, we found a babysitter. We made arrangements for her. You got to respect the person who, you know, she said it right, is setting the boundaries. You know, it's their day, it's their special day, and they're allowed to do stuff like that, you know? Just because you have a well-behaved kid doesn't mean that on that day they're going to be well-behaved, and you don't want to be the parent or the person who brought the distraction. I mean, it's their day to shine. And now there's a 3-year-old that everybody wants to pay attention to. Or there's conversations that could have been had that now we have to censor. And, you know, everybody knows jokes are funny when you're being like an adult, you know, with all the adult words. Jokes ain't that funny when you have to censor some stuff because, oh, you know, earmuffs, baby. You can't hear these words. And just same thing hanging out with your homies. It's just a different vibe. And, you know, is she the asshole for it? No, I don't believe so. But like I said, I've been there. I've been that parent that asked, hey, you know, can she come? And to be honest, like, I don't know. To me, I would have used that excuse just not to go. Y'all know I like being invited to stuff. I love it. Like, invite me to stuff because I might pull up. You feel me? But a lot of the time, I just like to be invited just to be invited, and I'm not gonna pull up. So if I could use my daughter's excuse, like, damn, dude, I would love to show up, but couldn't find a babysitter. You know, that's just the way I'm gonna roll. And you know, catch me next time. You know, next time I might pull up. But if I show up, hey, look, here's the thing. You either gonna get a gift or you gonna get my presents. Okay. You get a present or my presents. Most people don't get both. Okay. My mom gets both. When I show up for her birthday, she gets my presents and she gets presents. Other folks, you want me to show up? Cool. I'll show up. Cool. Pulling up. And we're having a great time. We cracking jokes. I'm being social. Now, I'm not always the most social person, but if I'm there, we being social. You feel me? We're going to have a good time. If I don't pull up, I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like going. I'm going to send you a cool gift. You know what I'm saying? That way you can go, you know what? He didn't show up, but he showed out. You know? I never understood people who get upset because there's a boundary set and it just, you know, I guess it doesn't fit for them. You know, that just shows your maturity level. And somebody gives you a boundary and sets a boundary for you, you should respect that. And it comes down to that respect. You should be able to respect your friends, especially your friends, right? You should be able to respect your family, right? Coworkers, I really don't care, bro. Like, if they're just a coworker, your boundaries don't mean nothing to me, bro. We're both being paid to be here. Like, suck it up, deal with it. But like my friends, I keep a close circle. So yeah, man, like they tell me they don't like something. They tell me they don't want to do something, whatever. Cool. We're good. No, you are not the asshole for setting boundaries. You are not the asshole for wanting an adults only party, you know? Whatever that boundary is, you're good. Set it. It's good to have boundaries. It shows that you know who you are, right? And what you want. And that's good. That's maturity. You know, her friend Laura tripping. And what do you mean? I was embarrassed. Girl, please. You showed up to a girls' night with a kid in your hand. You should be embarrassed that you don't have a baby daddy to take care of your kid. That's what you should be embarrassed of. Like, you don't even have a good enough relationship with the baby's daddy to leave the baby for a day, bro. Well, my baby daddy sucks. Maybe, but you slept with them. You decided to have a kid with them. So at some point, that nigga didn't suck. Whatever. You got parents. You got family members to drop your kids off with. You could have done that, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, if you have something, you know, that you feel different about what my take is, drop it in the comments. Let me hear it. I know some of y'all, well, that's not fair, Guapo. Like, sometimes adults just don't get along and they have to split up and it's better that way. You're right. You're right. You know, that's maturity too, is knowing that you can't be with somebody, you know, and deciding to go your separate ways. But that doesn't mean the responsibilities should be not divvied up between the both of y'all. And I don't know, maybe Laura's just one of those crazy baby mamas who don't want to let baby daddy see their kid, and, you know, it's crazy, you know, and tells all her friends that he's a good for nothing, bum ass, do nothing ass nigga. But you know, on the other end, he just working all the time and just trying to get by. And she's just a crazy, crazy woman. I don't know. I'm not saying she is, but they're out there. They're out there. You guys know some. And if you know some, be a good friend and tell them they're crazy. Stop trying to hype them up. You know, that I hate that so much when girls be crazy like that, you know, just, oh, I don't like my baby daddy, so I don't make him, you know, he can't see his kid. And the girlfriends are like, hell yeah, girl. You know, you right. That's your kid. You know, nah. That's not cool. I don't like that. And if you're one of those friends, you're a terrible friend, and people shouldn't be friends with you. Just saying. I guess that's why y'all hang out together. But anyway, that was our segment for what should I do and what should they do. Laura should keep her kid at home, and this other girl who posted this should not feel bad. So here in Houston, every year we have the rodeo, Houston Rodeo, livestock show, all that good stuff. I went to it back when Maroon 5 had performed here. And like, I'm gonna keep it 100, bro. The rodeo part, like, unless you like watching the rodeo, like the bull riding, and actually my favorite part is the mutton bussing, where the little kids hold on to the lambs, and then they just gotta hold on as long as they can and watch them little kids eat it, bro. It's so funny. These little kids just like holding on for dear life and like falling off those things and just like, oh, I'm good. Cause I know for a fact if my daughter did that, bro, she would be crying. She got hit in the face the other day with a soccer ball, and it didn't even hit her hard. And you would swear she broke a bone in her face. Like, it was the biggest scene in the world. So I could just imagine her holding on to a little mud, busting sheep and whatnot. But the rodeo is all right. For the most part, I think I enjoy the fairground stuff. And every year they do like new food. Like, I think the newest one this year might have been, what was it? I think last year was like pickle pizza or something like that. Was last year was the highlight. This year, I can't exactly remember what it was, but I go for the fried Oreos. Dog, fried Oreos are like my favorite dessert at the rodeo or any type of carnival thing. That if they have fried Oreos, bro, I'm getting me some. There's just something about fried Oreos that just make me do things. But like the fairgrounds is cool. It's expensive. I'm not gonna lie, it's expensive to get in there. And I don't really do rides. I used to do rides when I was like younger. Like I used to love going to Knott's Berry Farm and Six Flags and doing all the rides. As I've gotten older, the last time I went, I did a ride and I felt like my back was shattered. Like, I had no vertebrae after that. You know what I'm saying? You know, whenever you get out, you're like, oh my God, like, I think I just jacked up my whole back. That's how I felt. I was like, off of one ride. And then my head was spinning like I had just drank a bottle of like Jack Daniels and woke up. Like, I was like, oh my, why does my head feel this way? It was the worst feeling. So I don't get on rides anymore. And then I watched like videos on YouTube of like things that go wrong with some of these like fair rides and stuff, like people falling and things just falling apart. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. It's not worth it. Like, I'm not going to risk my life for it. But, I mean, just walking around doing the rodeo stuff, it's cool. It's a cool experience. I encourage everybody to go check it out once or twice, I guess, if you would like. But just to get into the rodeo is probably an hour just to try to find parking. So take that into consideration. But, you know, I go for the food and just the vibes and hanging out with friends. Wear comfortable shoes. It's probably the most important tip I can give you. I went in my Jordan 1s the last time I went. My feet were killing me. And I see people walking around in boots. And like, I hear always like country folks like, oh, well, boots are comfortable and, you know, they're meant to be outside. You know, they're meant to be walking around and, you know, break them in and they feel great on my feet. And that's great, but not on uneven ground like that. There's no way those things are comfortable. Like, there's a whole heel on the boot, bro. Like, you tell me that's comfortable walking around uneven ground like that? Tripping. But, I guess that's the whole thing of, like, it's the rodeo. You should dress up. And in my head, I'm like, you know what? One of these days, I'm going to go to the rodeo and give me a hat. Give me a nice give me a cowboy hat, a leather belt, some boots, maybe talk like this for the rest of the day. Like, can I get a biking on stick? Something like that, But I definitely do encourage you to go check it out. You can avoid paying for the livestock thing. Just do the fairgrounds. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of cool stuff to check out. It's a lot of games. You might find some celebrities walking around. That's always cool to see. And yeah. So that's the thing going on right now. Remember I was talking about the whole culture thing? Well, you ain't got to go out to the country to find some cowboys. You can find them in the city too. Okay? So, boom. Just another in your face about having to travel. So if you're in Houston, make sure you check out the Houston Livestock and Rodeo. And, have a good time. Take your family out there. Experience it for once or twice in your life. And it'll be a good time. Before we wrap up the show, I want to wish Germ a happy birthday. Feliz cumpleaños to the young man. I wish he was here today. Hardworking man, and, he's just trying to get everything done before he can celebrate this weekend, I'm sure. So, hey, happy birthday to you, Germ. And, I hope that you have a special, blessed day. Many blessings on your special day. And, we ain't getting younger, bro. We ain't getting younger, so enjoy it. Eat whatever you want. I'm not a cake person. I'm more of a cheesecake person. So like my birthdays, I always ask people like, don't bring me cake. And I've learned just through all my years of being Mexican that when you have a cake, people expect you to bite it. And then your whole face has to get dunked in there, It's just tradition. You just gotta deal with it. So if you do that with a cheesecake, you get a cheesecake. You don't gotta do that. Who's gonna ruin a cheesecake? Cheesecakes they're expensive, bro. But anyways, hey, Germ, happy birthday, feliz cumpleaños. I hope you have a great one. And to anybody else on the listeners, if you have a birthday, go ahead and drop your birthday in the comments. We'll make sure to shout you out on the next episode. And with all that said, thank you, chismosos y chismosas, for hanging out with us on another great episode of Los Chismosos Podcast. See ya.